I can certainly understand if you're devout and you believe religion is important to you both as a matter of faith and as part of your culture and traditions. I can understand why you're being offended, but I don't think in a modern, open, pluralistic society you can have a right not to be offended. And I think that you know a lot of the people in Sweden who think that Rasmus Paludan is abusing free speech would probably have a very different opinion if it was someone who was burning the Bible or burning the Swedish flags, and sort of right-wing extremists were threatening them. Then and this is of course what you often see in discussions about free speech, that people are willing to give up principle in order to protect their underlying ideologies or preferences. And I think the best way to think about it is that if you're a Muslim in Sweden, then your right to live in accordance with your own values, your right to practice your faith, your right to engage in religious speech is protected by this very same values that protect Rasmus Paludan from burning the Quran, and that's actually something that has been quite rare in human history. And so that's the price of living in an open society. You get to hold your values, you get to express your values, even though a lot of Swedes probably don't agree, and lots of Swedes may even feel very strongly about, say, those values clash with ours, but they don't get to ban someone from wearing a headscarf or reading in the Quran or the like. And so in that sense, I actually see free speech as the antithesis of violence. It's a way to be able to live together and without resorting our differences through coercion or violence. But it takes getting used to, and that's, of course, I think that's been the big problem in Scandinavia with immigration, is that a lot of people have come over a relatively short time that had very, very different ideas about the relationship between religion and free speech, and who were simply not used to religion being criticized in this manner. And I think there's been a misguided attempt by elites in Sweden and Denmark, probably more Sweden than Denmark, but sort of saying, okay, the way to show tolerance is then to say, okay, we have to protect these people from their religious feelings. And I can see where that comes from, but I think it's misguided. I think the best way to ensure a flourishing, diverse society is to tell people, well, we have, this is the price of living in a free society. The price of living in a free society is that you don't get to tell other people what they can say. The price is that even your most sacred values about religion are open to criticism and even mockery. But you yourself then have the right to criticize and say whatever you want about Rasmus Paludan or Christianity or Swedish democracy. You can reject those values, but you don't get to have sort of a veto, and you certainly don't get to try and enforce it through violence and intimidation.